What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's Daily Devotional, man, and we are going to the book of John. If it's your first time here, glad you're here. Glad you're listening, man. What we do is try and help you to trust in Jesus more. And by reading the scriptures and learning who Jesus is, then we can trust him because we're going to find out what he's like. We're going to see who he is. We're going to see what he does. And as we do all of those things, man, I can guarantee that you're going to trust him more and then place your life further in him, and then things will get better because you will be on a solid foundation and will understand and know that the one who created the universe loves you and seeks for your good. So I'm Paul again, and I hope that you have read through the first, well, actually, they're not the first, they're the last verses of John chapter 10, 40 through 42. If not, go ahead and stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say, come back, and we'll answer the 4 questions. If you have already read it, then we're going to do what we do here, because if you've read it, you probably know what is going on, and you've been here before, and you know that we break down the scriptures, we talk about the scriptures, and we love the scriptures, man. So let's go ahead and dive into it, man. What's happening? Well, the last time that we spoke, the last time the episode is that we talked about Jesus proclaiming himself as the Son of God, the unique Son of God. And then everybody tripping, man. They tripping. They want to pick up stones to stone him, man. They try and seize him. They try and grab him, and he flees. And so now we're at what he's doing, like where he went. And it says that he went to this place across Judea, or the Jordan. I'm sorry, not Judea. He said he went to this place across the Jordan, and he hung out where Juan used to be. Juan. I'm reading it in Greek, and it's Juan, but and that's where John was baptizing before, man. It says Jesus remained there. He's got like a group of people that are with him, man. It says because many people thought about the things that John did, said he didn't do any signs, no signs. But everything he said about this man, Jesus, was true. Everything. And so it says because of that, many people believed into Jesus. And so what I think is so significant about this right here is John. I mean, why did they bring John back up, man? I don't know. I don't know. But it's a testimony to his testimony. And they mention the fact that he did no signs, man. He never did. And this is important because he's considered a prophet. They call him like Jesus says that he is the best of all men that are born from women, man. And he is remembered in the scriptures as a prophet, the one that says akin to Elijah. And Elijah is the prophet who was one of the greatest prophets ever. And so for them to say that John didn't do any signs, boy, that's tough. I think it shows and attests to us that well, look at me. I'm going in application before we even start. But that's a significant thing that John is considered so great, yet they say he had no sign. But the one thing that John does, and the scripture, the gospel continues to say all the time, is that he always pointed to Jesus. And even after his death, because John is dead here, that they are remembering him not for himself, but for pointing to Jesus. Now that's a testimony, man. I hope my life does that. Like after I die and I'm gone, I'm buried, that they don't remember things I did, but they remember the thing that I would always point to Jesus, man. Point to Jesus. So what's this thing saying about God? First off, I think it's saying he's sovereign God over everything. And the reason I say that is because when they try and seize him again, he flees and he's able to get away with no problem. And remember, before the discourse, it said they surrounded him. And so God, the Father, is making sure that everything is moving according to the time that he desires. There is nothing that anyone can do outside of the sovereign will of God. They can't touch Jesus. They can't hurt Jesus. They can't capture Jesus until it is the time appointed. Another thing I think is that God uses mankind to accomplish his task, and that's amazing, that God would allow man to be able to work in the process of bringing souls to the kingdom. That's a beautiful thing. What's to say about man? Well, It says that our ultimate purpose is to testify to the glory of God. That's what John did. He didn't focus on his life himself, but pointed everything to the person and the nature of Jesus. Now, who does that sound like? It sounds like Jesus, right? Is that everything that Jesus does is pointing to the nature and the character of the Father. And so John is only emulating what Jesus has done. And so in the same way, I think that's what we should be doing as mankind, is testifying to the purpose of Jesus. And then second, man, is that John didn't do any signs, but he showed them who Jesus was. And so I think as Christians that we don't have to be mesmerizing in our speech. We don't have to be wonderful in our the things that we do. But what we need to do is make sure that they hear and know who Jesus is. We bring them to Jesus. We show them Jesus. So how can we apply these truths to our lives? Well, first off, I think that we need to examine our own lives and say, how is our life attesting to the glory of God? How is our life attesting to the sovereignty and the wonder and the beauty and the goodness of Jesus? Are we in every aspect of our life showing that Jesus is the man and the God? Are we showing that he is just so above and beyond wonder that there's nothing but goodness and glory and love and endearment and connection and attachment that comes from him, that he's a protector, a provider, one in whom we can count and trust on? That's the thing that we should be doing. That's the thing that we should be doing. And also, I think as we apply these truths to our lives, recognize, man, and we don't have to be anything special. Though John was super special, he wasn't anything special. If you get my drift, is that he was special because God was moving through him. So may God move through you today. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.